Business operator and business owner, and there is a big but reachable gap between the two. And if you want to know how you move across to spend more and more of your time on the things you love, and how to identify whether you're a business operator at the moment and how to move across to utopia, then this week's episode is exactly for you. Hello, it's Emma here, and welcome to episode 204 of MiTV. And this week's episode is inspired by something I heard in August, and it played on my mind, and it sunk in over the past few months. And it's when I went to my Tony Robbins all-nighter 5-day extravaganza of tiredness of listening to Tony and all of those experts. So for anybody who's an avid MiTV watcher, you'll know that I went on Tony Robbins Business Mastery in August, but virtually on the US time zone. So I spent most of the night for 5 days awake listening to lots of motivational things. And one of the speakers was called Keith Cunningham. He's awesome. I've talked about him a few times. He's got a really great book called The Road Less Stupid. Highly recommend you go out and buy it. And he said something, he kept repeating the same phrase, and he said, business operators get really tired and business owners get rich. Now, I'm just going to make my own slight version on it and replace the word get rich, because if I was only in business to get rich, I would have jacked this in a long time ago. So I'm going to replace it to business operators get tired, business owners get energy and focus and love what they're doing and want to push on and have the energy and patience and time to be a good leader. And that's no longer a phrase, it's a description, but I hope you know what I'm getting at. So it's not just about, but by being a good leader, by serving customers well, a byproduct of it is that money does flow to you. So I understood what the phrase meant, but one of the things he said was that with business operators, because you are ultimately in the day-to-day, in the running, in the thick of it, in the middle of it, wearing every single hat, you it draws energy. It really does. And I still have big periods of time now where I'll get drawn in, and then you get yourself out of it, and then you get drawn in. And it draws your energy, and every time, and the thing that he followed up with is that every time you something happens in your business, which is like a mistake, an error, something that shouldn't have happened, a customer complaint, a staff member unhappy, you have to write a check, as he says. Now, what he means by that is that every single time one of these things happen, it costs you, whether it's in time, whether it's in money, whether it's in slight bad, not reputation, but bad chat about you, whether it's in team members not putting as much effort in because they're not in a good place. So every single time something happens, there is a consequence to it, which you pay for in some way as the business operator. And so right now, I hope you are asking at the screen, okay, Emma, I get your point. I get what a business operator is. I get how they get less energy, they get tired, they get fed up a lot of the time, but how do I get out of it? How do I move to being a business owner? And for me, a business owner is somebody that strategizes, directs the business, but ultimately can spend their time on the things that they are ultimately the best at. That's like the pinnacle for me. If I could spend all week giving video my all and crafting content that's helpful from my experiences, that helps you guys, that would be my dream. If I could spend 5 days a week doing that, I'd be like Gary Vee. I'd have a full-time vlogger. I'd just be creating stuff, and I would love that. It's for me, a business owner is getting to that point where you're doing only what you should do best in your business to push it forward. And so where am I at the moment? I'm definitely business operator some days, getting more business owner all the time, but business operator some days. And recently, the bigger we get, every day there'll be things happen where you go, and what's happened? Really? How, it never fails to surprise me how you think you've heard something really shocking and then something more shocking comes along. But we chose to play by these rules. This is what happens as you grow a business, and they're just problem solving all the time, isn't it? The one thing that we do really well, that my ops manager Matt is fantastic at, that we all strive and learn to do, is that when something happens that costs you money, that makes you write a check, whether it's time, money, reputation, saying sorry to a customer, you have to somewhere document what has happened. And I don't mean write a big transcript and statement about it. Like, you have to just list the problem that has happened and be resolute in at some point soon in the future solving that and doing something that makes sure it never happens again. And I don't mean talking directly to the person to say, why have you done this, never do that again, or speaking to a customer and apologizing directly about something. Those things happen, but what is really important, which is like the business owner's way to do things, is to put stuff, training, processes in place that make sure it never happens again. So I think business owners, business operators get wrong a lot, is that they will solve a problem directly with one person. Now that person has learnt their lesson, they're not going to do it again. But Joe Bloggs over there on the other side of the office, who hasn't been trained in it, who hasn't been told this might happen, or he's likely to do something similar, something worse. Like, business operators get very, very good at putting out fires and tackling these problems one-on-one with people, and that's not how you stem these things happening as a growing business. And this is not just about having a large business, this is about having a company that operates without you and you become the business owner. So you have to solve, I call them assets. You have to keep adding to the assets that exist of this is how the business operates to make sure it never happens again. So as an example, a couple of weeks ago we had an incident with a spam email which caused a member of our team to do something that cost us money. It wasn't a huge amount of money, it was like whatever, and it's like really unfortunate, but we learn by it, we move on. But you have to make sure you really learn by it. So immediately we make a note of like, this problem needs solving. We need to train our team on how to deal with those sneaky spam emailers that come in. So my ops manager has sent an email around to our existing team members, everybody, with a guideline of what to look for, how to know that probably it's going to be a spam email, even if it really, really seems like it's come from Emma. So we train our initial team, everybody. You don't just speak to the one person who has had the issue happen, you have to train everyone. But the thing that I think most business owners forget is that then my ops manager, Matt, his email then said, okay, everybody, this is how you deal with it, and now I'm going to add it into the My PA Academy, which is our way of doing things, our ops manual. That then gets added in, and every single time a new starter joins now, whereas before we've never trained on how to deal with spam emails in the business before, you can bet your bottom dollar we're training on how to deal with spam emails going forward. So like, the problem is wiped out for us, because of course, you can train people and these things still happen, but we're still going to train all the new starters. My MiTV today is about, you can't be a business owner by putting out individual fires and dealing with that problem directly with the person. You need to go, okay, I'll do that, but also what is the wider thing that now needs to be implemented to make sure nobody ever does it again. And while I know how busy you are, and you might say, okay, well, for now, I'm just going to tell them don't do this. That's fine, but you must have a list, have a project, have a notepad, have something where you write down these things that need solving at some point in the future. It might be that, you go, okay, early in 2023, I'm going to book a day out to solve things that have happened and make sure they can't happen again. If you don't, you're leaving yourself wide open to it's not just about having problems, it's about being that business operator who gets low energy, who gets tired, who can't see the wood for the trees, who wonders when it's going to get better. The business owner solves the problem from the top. And my final analogy, Martin Norbury, my business coach, he's been my business coach for 5 years now, he's absolutely fantastic, and he has the best analogy for it. It's like sweeping up the leaves from a conker tree every single day, and the leaves keep falling, and what you actually need to do if you don't want to keep sweeping up the leaves for the conker tree is chop the conker tree down, and then you're not going to get the leaves ever again to sweep up. And this is the same thing that I'm talking about. If you've got something happening, you have to go, I can sweep the leaves here, but how do I get rid of the conker tree to make sure this doesn't happen again? So I hope this week's episode helps you go, okay, I am a business operator right now, but I want to move towards being a business owner. And this is exactly one of the ways that I'm going to do that. And I'll see you next week for episode 205. See you then. Bye-bye.